Hello everyone, welcome back. So we're pretty much done. I'm pretty happy with the result. We have the shader, we have the ship, and we have our light working. So let's take a look at the mid angle. And I'm gonna tweak this. Maybe, yeah, I'm gonna create a new camera. Let's call this side. And I'm gonna leave it at the same location but rotate it this way. I want the ship to be in that angle, and I want to be able to see the ocean. Maybe not something like that. I want to be able to see the ocean and the horizon. So let's do something like this. And this is how it looks like. I still don't know why Redshift is adapting to the camera. Yeah, any camera viewport, that's why it's picking up the cam. So in terms of lighting for this one, I think it's working pretty well. The RS dome, let's try. So there is an edge here that we're seeing. And if I tilt up the camera, we should see, yeah, let's do a render again and do it proper. Okay, so if we tilt the camera, we're gonna fix that issue. We just have to extend the HDR a bit, so I'm not too worried about that edge. We can extend the grid, make it bigger, and that shouldn't be too hard as well. It should work pretty well, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna tweak. Actually, I like this camera, so I'll leave this one, and I'm gonna go to the object context, and I'm gonna tweak the settings. So let's set this to OCIO and make sure our LUT is loaded in. Sometimes if you just switch, it doesn't show up. And I'm gonna increase the exposure, and let's turn on the photographic, and I need this to change the white balance, something like that. And I think this is too much, so let's lower that, and let's desaturate the colors a bit. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with this result, so I'm gonna pin it. Let's try and rotate this HDR, so I'm gonna set it to 0. See if we can find a better angle that works for us. So here we're getting a lot of sunlight directly at us, and it's not ideal, but it's still realistic. It's just that we don't want to get this much reflection. I think the index of reflection, that 2 value is very strong, so I'm gonna go and fix that and lower it, make sure the range is reasonable. So I'm gonna set this to 1.4 and 1.2, and the roughness, maybe we can lower this. Let's set it to 0.05, and the refraction, let's set this to 0.9. And as you can see, what's happening is I have to tweak the shader based on the light. And this is fine because each light, we want to get the best out of it. There's nothing wrong with tweaking the shader to get you the best look possible for the scene you have. Let's make sure we don't have this. Let's set this to 1. And so I want to basically find an angle that I'm happy with. And the ocean shader is working pretty well. It looks very natural, and the way we're getting this amount of reflection and refraction is very realistic. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's just that the ship normals are not great, so I'm not very happy with that. So maybe this angle, yeah, I like this angle, so I'm gonna fix the HDR, and this is what I'm gonna be using for the sequence. And as long as this is my main camera, I tweak things based on that. I'm happy with the look. Done. Now the next one, let's pause this. I'm gonna save this as 2 or look 2, and I'm gonna switch to a different HDR, number 6 that we chose, and sequence, and let's hit render. And with this one, we have to accommodate this HDR based on how it looks. Let's see, why is that? What's happening? I'm gonna move to a different frame. Maybe I disconnected something. I have one light. Let's see what's happening. This could be, we have the bump, the displacement, everything is working. So something I notice is sometimes I have to restart Redshift, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to pause and we'll reopen in a second. Just note that all these images will not be stored, and we're going to lose that, which is fine. So let me pause and we'll reopen Redshift. Okay, so I'm back. Let's hit render again. And see what we get. And something is off, and I'm not so sure why is this. So let me check. Let's open the plugin option and go under debug, log to console, and I'm gonna hit apply, and this is the console, and let's make sure it's always on top, and let's select. So that's the camera. Override scene material. This is what got turned on. Okay, so no need to debug anything. Sorry about that. And we're back. Now, with this HDR, you can see that the ocean is not looking the best. And I'm gonna click on the APR, and I do think that the shader, the index of reflection, is not working pretty well. So I'm gonna turn off, I'm gonna disable these two, and I'm gonna set this to 1.33. Okay, and let's tweak the HDR the various options based on this HDR. So I'm not interested in getting the sun right at us, which should be fine. We can definitely get that. But if we were to do a shooting based on this, we would lower the exposure to capture everything, or at least for it not to be super exposed, overexposed. And let's go to the object level, and I'm going to select the RS dome, and I'm going to set this to 0. I'm going to rotate this until we get something that we like. Something like this. So as you can see, all of them are physically accurate. We're not changing anything. It's just how we perceive things that makes us decide how to tweak the shader. And that's it. The shader works pretty well. We just needed some to align the HDR in a specific way, and that's pretty much it. Now I want to fix that chip. It's bothering me. And let me see what's happening. So let's unpack. And I'm gonna compute the normal. I'm gonna set this to 30. And let's hit render again. And there we go. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna increase the render settings and let me explain a few more things. So what I'd like to do, I don't need any global illumination in this case. We have the AUVs, so let's add some more. We need object position. We could use the depth. We could use the world position. We could use normals. Not so much, but okay. And that's pretty much it. Refraction we have. Yeah, this is all the AVs that we need for now. We can add later if we decided that we need something. Now under AV processing, I'm going to enable this. I'm going to set this to 10 to clamp any this helps reduce the noise and fireflies. And then under redshift, I'm going to increase this to 32, this to 128. I'm going to reduce this to 0.3. This is my final settings. I'm not going to change anything else. Okay, and let's increase the resolution to